lesson objective for today's session is to use technology, to use GDC to calculate the probability of a normal distribution. Example question 1. The weights of animals in a zoo is normally distributed with a mean of 500 kg and standard deviation 100 kg. Find the probability of finding an animal weighing less than 600 kg. Part B, find the probability of finding an animal weighing between 300 and 600 kg. And the last part is find the probability of finding an animal weighing above 800 kg. So you have three parts to this question, where you are asked to find the probability of animals weighing less than 600 kg as case 1, between 300 and 600 as case 2, and above 800 as case 3. Now, when you sketch the case 1 where it's less than 600 kg, you can see that the normal distribution curve looks like this, where you are asked to find the probability of this region. You're about to find the probability of the region which is below 600. In this case, your mean is 500 and your standard deviation is 100 as given in the question. Any guess on where we can find the normal distribution on a GDC? Now look here, you can see DISTR, which stands for distribution. So to select this, you have to press second, the blue button here, second, and wars, which gives you the option distribution, DISTR. So this is where you look for, where you start with finding the data for a normal distribution, and I'll be sharing the further steps. You press on second wars where you get the distribution option. Click on option 2, which is the normal CDF. Option 2, normal CDF. Step 2, again, you have the lower limit, upper limit, mean and standard deviation that need to be entered, and you press enter twice. So this is the key steps that you need to follow in the GDC. You can take note of it. Now the data that need to be entered into the GDC for case 1, we have to enter the lower limit, the upper limit, mean and standard deviation. Now the lower limit is entered as -1 E99, which can also be written as just -E99, which is the lower limit. And the upper limit of this region is 600. This is the upper limit. The mean is given in the question, 500, and the standard deviation is 100. Now where to find E? You press shift and the sign button, giving you E, which stands for the exponent, and make sure this negative that you use here should be the one you find it inside the bracket next to the enter button. Now let's see how this data can be entered in the GDC. Now let me share a video on how to enter this into the GDC. That will help you more. So for case 1, you get the answer as 0.841344 in your GDC. To 3S, if you can see 0.841 is a probability, or you can write it as 84.1 percentage. Now moving to case 2, where you're asked to find the probability of finding an animal between 300 kg and 600 kg, because you have the region that's been shaded and the lower is given by 300, the limit will be 600. So you have the data, you have the mean and standard deviation. The same method, you just have to change the values for the lower and upper limits. So this will be the values that you will have to enter. Answer will be equal to 0.81859. To 3SF it will be 0.819. I can say 81.9%. Moving on to case 3. Now here in case 3 you're dealing with a region above 800. You can find the value using two methods. I'll be explaining method 1 first. Now for this region, in method 1, we take the lower limit as 800 and the upper here is taken as 1E99. Remember, this is a positive value. Earlier we had taken here negative 1E99. So make sure you don't get confused. Here's a negative. So the mean is 500 and the standard deviation is 100. You put these values into the GDC and your GDC answer is going to be a negative 0.9986. From this value, you have to add, final answer will be 1 plus negative 0.999 and it's going to be 0.00135 to 3 SF. So this is your probability for the data that falls above 800 kg. In method 2, we'll be finding the probability of this shaded region below 800 and we know the total probability under the curve is 1. So we are going to subtract the probability of this region from the total probability 1. For example, if I consider the probability of this region as B, then the probability of this region as A. So my aim or the method that I'll be using is to find B by finding A and then I'll subtract the probability of A. So this is the method 2 and in this case you're finding this region, so the lower is negative 1E99 and you use 800 as the upper limit. You find the probability there, which is going to be positive 998649 and then you just subtract it. The final answer will be 1 minus. In both the methods we get the same answer, but make sure you're not confused with the signs and whether it's a plus 1 or minus 1 that you have to do. That's it. Case 1 was weighing less than 600 kg. We saw the region which is less than this. The mean and standard deviation given. The lower limit was taken as negative 1E99 and this is the upper. In the second case it was between, so it was easier. You knew the lower and this is the upper limit. In the third case we had two ways to solve it, which was discussed. That's it. Thank you.